Hi everyone, my name's Ayush Ramachandran and I'm from Singapore. Writing about empathy for the literary festival certainly wasn't easy. It's often difficult to make tangible connections between a fairly abstract concept and our very real world. The hardest part for me was definitely finding a real world idea that clicked for me, empathy-wise. Even though it wasn't too hard to find examples of empathy, I found it difficult to find forms that I could derive meaning and depth from. When I did start writing this essay, it was enlightening to see all the pieces of abstract theory in real life fall into place and fit together. Seeing connections between the ideas and representations of empathy while I was writing this essay and improving my understanding of the topic over time was definitely my highlight of my time writing this. That being said, I'll start now with my essay. Empathetic veganism. Empathy. The ability to understand and share the feelings of another. Though the definition for it is simple enough, the concept is vast and difficult to quantify, often varying greatly in idea and scale. However, a form of empathy that many seem to forget is empathy towards other species of animals. Somehow, a kind person is able to slurp upon a milkshake produced from the brutal suffering of a dairy cow and feast on a burger coming from the dried up animal's abused carcass. In this essay, we will be discussing why veganism is an empathetic practice towards animals, other humans, and even the planet, and why taking it up will make the world a better place. Veganism is the practice of refraining from the use of animal and animal-based products, especially in diets, whenever possible, rejecting the idea that animals are merely commodities, and people who practice veganism are vegans. Factory farms now produce 99% of the world's poultry, meat, eggs, and dairy products. As the name implies, factory farms are factories that imitate farms in usage and output, being focused on the rearing of animals like cows and chickens in order to make use of the resources they produce throughout their lives and deaths, which include eggs, milk, butter, and naturally meat. Unfortunately, the phrase factory farms doesn't come close to describing the horrendous cruelty and awful treatment that the animals receive in the factories they are put in. Cows are artificially inseminated yearly and separated from their young at birth, just to make them constantly keep providing milk for us humans. Chickens are crowded into cages so tight, they become squashed together and sometimes even begin attacking each other. Chicks that are hatched from eggs meant for eating are thrown against walls and brutally murdered for the first few seconds of their lives. Veganism stands to change the normalcy of the cruel practices that take place in factory farms and other animal products, such as string, tires, and clothing companies. A vegan person doesn't use any products containing animal parts within them in order to support the animals that were cruelly slaughtered for our consumerist desires and to combat the industries that make them. A vegan person will thus not only dissociate themselves from the foods and products they don't approve of, but will choose not to support or fund particular companies or even entire industries based on the quantity of animal products in their goods. Veganism is also an environmental stance. Animals take up huge amounts more water and feed than plants do, being extremely inefficient in their energy production. Cows and chickens are also responsible for huge proportions of methane and nitrogen excesses respectively. Vegans thus also protect the planet by choosing to stick with more sustainable and less wasteful methods of sustenance. In the world we live in today, there are shockingly few chances to show we care in regards to the lives of animals. Immense cruelty reigns unchecked in the factory farms of the world, where animals are abused and broken before being brutally slaughtered. However, there is a solution. Each person who chooses veganism represents a voice speaking out. A voice that chooses to take upon themselves a little bit of the animal's burden and help to slowly reduce the cruelty taking place all over the world today. Thank you.